Maya sat in her favorite chair by the window, the soft light of the afternoon spilling across her worn, but beloved quilt. The house smelled faintly of lavender, the scent of comfort and nostalgia that filled the air as she sipped her tea. At 63, she had come to embrace the small, simple pleasures of life. Her hair, once a vibrant black, now showed streaks of silver, but her eyes, sharp and filled with warmth, still sparkled with the same curiosity they always had. The house was quiet today. Raj, her only son, was out with his wife Reena. They were adults now, and Maya found herself navigating the slow ebb of their dependence on her. The house, once lively with the sounds of his laughter and the hustle of family, now echoed with silence. Maya had always been there for Raj, through every scraped knee, every late-night exam study, and every life decision. She had supported him, sacrificed her own dreams so he could chase his. She was proud of him, of course. His success, his thriving career, the love he had found with Reena. It was everything a mother could hope for. But lately there was a growing emptiness. Raj seemed less interested in spending time with her, less patient with her little requests. Maya. Raj's voice broke her reverie as he walked into the room, his face bright with excitement. Reena and I were talking. We're planning a trip to that resort in the Maldives next month. The one we've been eyeing for years. Isn't that exciting? Maya's heart leapt. The Maldives. A dream she had always held close. Something she'd never thought she could afford or do in her lifetime. She smiled, a glimmer of hope shining through her eyes. That sounds amazing. I'd love to join you both. I've always wanted to see the Maldives. Raj paused, his smile faltering slightly. He glanced at Reena, who stood beside him, her arms crossed casually. Then with a soft laugh he spoke. Mama, you know it's a really expensive trip. I mean, with your health, it might not be the best idea. And well, it might be a bit much for someone your age. You might just hold us back. The words stung more than she expected. She forced a smile, hiding the hurt beneath it. Of course I understand, Maya said, her voice steady despite the ache in her chest. I just thought it might be nice, but you're right. She watched as Raj's face softened, oblivious to the depth of his words. Maya's heart sank, but she said nothing more, silently retreating into the quiet corner of her home, her mind racing with a mix of sadness and a quiet determination. Maya stood in the kitchen, the scent of fresh-baked bread filling the room. She smiled as she thought back to the early days when Raj was just a boy, running around with his toy cars, his laughter echoing through the house. It had been tough after her husband passed away. She remembered the overwhelming grief of losing him. But more than that, she remembered the strength she had to summon. Raj needed her. He was only 5, too young to understand why his father was suddenly gone. I'm going to be okay, Raj, Maya whispered to herself, as if reassuring both of them. But there had been moments when she wasn't sure. Every night, she stayed up late, doing paperwork for her part-time jobs while Raj slept soundly in his bed. Her dreams, once vivid and full of possibilities, faded into the background. It was no longer about what she could achieve. It was about what Raj needed. And she gave everything, her time, her energy, her comfort for him. Mom, I need new shoes for school, young Raj would say, holding up a pair of scuffed sneakers. She would smile, her heart aching because the money was tight, but she never let him see the worry. Of course, sweetheart, she'd reply, as though it was no trouble at all, even if it meant skipping out on buying herself new clothes for the 3rd year in a row. She worked double shifts at the local diner, came home late, and woke up early. She put Raj through school, even when she could barely afford it. She watched him graduate college with tears in her eyes, not just out of pride, but also from the exhaustion of how far they'd come. It wasn't just school fees she paid. Maya had made sure he never lacked for anything. She attended every parent-teacher meeting, every school play, every college event. And when Raj graduated, she was there, her heart swelling with pride, her sacrifices all worth it. The day Raj met Reena, his fiancée, was another milestone. Maya welcomed her with open arms, embracing the woman who would be the love of her son's life. She helped with wedding preparations, carefully picking out the perfect fabrics for the ceremony, and watched as Raj married the woman he loved. But over time, something began to change. Raj's phone calls became shorter, and his visits less frequent. Maya could sense it, that shift in the air. It wasn't as if he didn't care. She could never believe that. But it was as if he was becoming more consumed with his own life, with Rena and her family. Every time Maya tried to invite him over for a meal, he was busy. Every time she asked about his day, he would give a quick answer and move on. She tried to brush it off, telling herself that this was natural. After all, Raj was a grown man now, and perhaps this was just the way things were meant to be. But the silence between them had become louder than the conversations they used to have. Maya hadn't said anything. She had always been the quiet one, the mother who gave everything, but never asked for anything in return. At night, when the house was still and the world outside seemed to fade, Maya would sit by the window, staring out at the stars. Her thoughts wandered back to the dreams she had once held, the places she wanted to visit, the adventures she wanted to embark on. But as she thought about them, her heart only grew heavier. Because in her heart, she knew that those dreams would never be more than wishes. The sun had already dipped below the horizon when Raj and Rena walked into the living room, laughing softly between them as they shed their coats. Maya, who had been sitting quietly by the window, felt a sense of unease settle over her chest. There was something in the air tonight, something she couldn't quite place. "Mama, we were just talking," Raj began, his voice casual, as if he were about to discuss something insignificant. "Rena and I have finalized everything for the Maldives trip. It's booked for next month." Maya's heart quickened at the mention of the place. Her dream destination, the place she had fantasized about for years, the pristine beaches and crystal-clear waters that seemed so far out of reach. Her eyes brightened with anticipation. "That sounds wonderful," she said, a smile spreading across her face. "I've always wanted to go there. Maybe I could join you too." Raj exchanged a brief look with Rena before turning back to Maya, his smile polite but lacking any real warmth. "Mama, we've already talked about it, and it's just not the right time for you. You know, with everything." Maya's smile faltered. "What do you mean?" She tilted her head, trying to mask the sudden sting in her chest. Raj, seemingly unaware of the growing tension, waved his hand dismissively. "You're too old for something like this, Mama. It's a long flight, and all that heat and stuff. I don't think it's really your thing." Rena nodded along, her arms crossed over her chest. "Yeah, it's not really a family vacation, you know? We want to have some alone time to relax." Maya blinked, her heart sinking as the weight of his words settled in. "Too old," she repeated softly, as if trying to process the comment. Her son had just told her, without hesitation, that she was too old to live her own dream. She had always put him first, had given up everything for his happiness and success. And now, with just a few words, Raj had confirmed what she had feared for months. She was no longer a priority in his life. Her chest tightened, and a wave of emotion rushed over her. Hurt, anger, disappointment, all swirling together in a painful knot. But Maya didn't speak. She couldn't. She had spent a lifetime biting her tongue, sacrificing her own feelings for those she loved. Raj, her son, was everything to her. She had been the one to raise him, to build his life from the ground up, and now, he was dismissing her as if she were nothing more than an afterthought. "Okay," Maya said, her voice steady but thin. She forced a smile, though it didn't reach her eyes. "I understand. You too enjoy the trip." Raj gave her a brief, distracted smile, and clapped her on the shoulder. "Thanks, Mama. I knew you'd get it." Rena, too, offered a half-smile before the two of them left the room, already discussing the finer details of the trip. Maya sat in silence long after they had gone, the weight of their words still echoing in her ears. "Too old," the words repeated in her mind, cutting deeper with each pass. That evening Maya didn't sleep. She sat alone in her living room, staring out at the darkened garden. The quietness of the house felt suffocating, and the emptiness inside her chest felt like it would swallow her whole. She closed her eyes and let her mind drift back to her youth. She remembered the places she had once dreamed of seeing. The rolling hills of Tuscany, the beaches of Spain, the bustling streets of Tokyo. But those dreams, she realized, had been buried beneath the weight of responsibilities. Responsibilities she had taken on willingly, gladly. She had put Raj's needs above her own, had given him everything she had, all the while putting her own life on hold. Maya took a deep breath. No more. With a mix of sadness and defiance, a spark of determination ignited within her. She would not be sidelined again. Not by her son, not by anyone. She had spent her whole life making sure everyone else was happy. Now it was time to make herself happy. Why should I wait for permission? Maya whispered to herself, her voice resolute. Why should I wait for them to decide when I can live my life? She stood up from the chair, a quiet resolve settling over her like a mantle. She would go on the trip, but on her own terms. No longer would she let others dictate her happiness. No longer would she be the quiet, unseen mother. Maya would go to the Maldives, alone, free, and with a newfound confidence. And this time it would be better. She would make sure of it. The next morning, the house was quiet, the kind of stillness that made you feel like you could hear your own thoughts echo. Maya stood by the kitchen window, a cup of chai growing cold in her hands. Outside, birds chirped cheerfully, completely unaware that something had shifted inside the heart of the woman watching them. She turned slowly, her eyes scanning the room like it was a battlefield of memories. Her gaze landed on the small laptop Raj had gifted her a year ago. The one he said would help her stay connected, but which mostly sat unused. Until now. Maya sat down, opened it, and let out a determined breath. Let's see what's so special about this place you think I can't handle, Raj. She typed Maldives luxury resort Raj Reena honeymoon into Google, hoping to trace any crumbs they'd left behind. Sure enough, up popped a string of images that looked like paradise. White sandy beaches, infinity pools spilling into the ocean, spa villas that glowed under golden sunsets. One particular resort kept coming up in their conversations, Azure Reef Villas. She clicked on the link. Oh, she whispered, eyes widening. The homepage alone looked like a dream. The site welcomed her with a soft ambient video of a smiling older couple walking hand in hand on the beach, a direct contradiction to Raj's assumption that this was not her thing. She smirked. Too old, am I? Maya navigated the site like a pro, browsing the rooms, activities, food options. Private yoga sessions, seafood under the stars, glass-bottom boat rides. Her eyes sparkled with each discovery. There were even pages specifically dedicated to solo travelers and older guests. For the next few hours, Maya transformed. She wasn't just a mother anymore. She was a woman on a mission. She opened her ledger, checked her bank app, and added up her savings. Years of frugal living and birthday cash tucked away had quietly grown into a surprisingly healthy sum. She called the bank. Yes, I'd like to transfer a portion into my active account. No, just a personal expense. A long overdue one. Over the following weeks, Maya secretly coordinated every detail. She watched videos about traveling alone as a senior, joined Facebook groups, and even took a few brisk walks around the neighborhood to build stamina. One evening, after Raj and Reena had left for dinner, Maya clicked on the Book Now button. Would you like to upgrade to the Oceanfront Serenity Suite? The site prompted. Maya clicked yes. Would you like to schedule a private welcome dinner on the beach? Absolutely. She paused at the payment page. Her fingers hovered above the keyboard. Then, with a calm breath and a small, satisfied smile, she entered her card details and hit confirm. The screen lit up with confetti animation. Congratulations, Maya. Your luxury escape awaits. She leaned back in her chair, the glow of the screen reflecting in her eyes. For the first time in years, Maya felt something stir deep inside her. Not anger, not sadness, but thrill. She folded her arms, smiling to herself. They said it's not my thing, she whispered. They have no idea what my thing even is. From that moment, her quiet days were filled with a new kind of excitement. Secret shopping for beachwear, reading travel guides late at night, and practicing English phrases she hadn't used in decades. The escape wasn't just a trip. It was her quiet rebellion. And no one knew a thing. For weeks, Maya had moved quietly but with purpose. Gone was the slow shuffle of a woman resigned to the background. In its place was a graceful confidence, a sparkle in her eyes that hadn't been there in years. She stood in front of the mirror one morning, holding a flowing turquoise caftan against her body. The color lit up her skin, reminding her of her younger days, when she'd wear bold colors without hesitation. You still got it, she murmured with a soft chuckle, turning slightly to admire the fit. The woman in the reflection wasn't just someone's mother anymore. She was Maya. Just Maya. She'd already booked a massage for the first evening, snorkeling for the second day, and a sunset cruise midweek. Each detail carefully planned, not for anyone else but for her. One afternoon, she walked into a boutique she'd often pass but never dared enter. The saleswoman looked up surprised. "Looking for something special?" she asked politely. Maya smiled. "Yes, for myself." The saleswoman blinked then smiled back. "Well, let's find you something fabulous." Maya left with a new sun hat, a pair of designer sunglasses, and a light pink travel tote. She clutched them close to her chest like secrets. The day of departure arrived, bright and warm. Maya had packed her bags the night before. Everything folded with care, documents ready, phone fully charged. Her heart beat faster with every tick of the clock. At breakfast, Raj strolled into the kitchen, scrolling through his phone. "Morning, Ma. You want anything from the store later?" "No, beta. I won't be here." Raj looked up puzzled. "Going somewhere?" She nodded, sipping her tea. "Yes. I've planned a little trip for myself." He blinked. "A trip? With whom?" "Just me." He raised an eyebrow. "Oh, like a pilgrimage or something." She chuckled softly. "No, not this time." "Well, where are you going?" he asked, his tone more amused than concerned. Maya smiled but didn't answer directly. "I've realized I've waited long enough. It's time I stopped sitting around for others to take me places. I can go myself." Raj tilted his head, clearly not taking her seriously. Okay. Don't party too hard, Ma." She stood, adjusting the strap of her bag. "I won't. But I will dance a little. Maybe under the stars." He laughed. "All right, have fun." As she stepped out the door, Maya took a deep breath, the sunlight wrapping around her like a welcome. She didn't look back. For the first time in decades, Maya was walking toward something that was entirely hers. Maya stepped out of the airport shuttle, her eyes widening as the grand entrance of the tropical resort came into view. Ivory pillars framed by cascading vines, the scent of salt water in the air, and staff welcoming her with fresh towels and fruit-infused drinks. This was the kind of luxury she'd only seen in movies. "Welcome to the Azure Bay Resort, Mrs. Kapoor." The receptionist greeted her with a warm smile. "We have your suite ready. Ocean-facing, just as requested." Maya smiled, her heart fluttering with a sense of pride and disbelief. "Thank you, dear. I'm really here, aren't I?" As she stepped into her suite, floor-to-ceiling windows offered a breathtaking view of turquoise waves crashing onto white sand. A soft breeze fluttered the sheer curtains, and the smell of jasmine wafted from the fresh flowers on the table. She dropped her bags and walked out onto the balcony, letting the sun kiss her cheeks. "So this is what freedom feels like," she whispered to herself. The days passed like a dream. Maya lounged by the infinity pool, sipping coconut water, and chatting with travelers from all over the world. She tried sushi for the first time, something Raj always said she wouldn't like. But she did. One morning, she joined a beach yoga class. As she moved through the stretches, laughing with a group of women her age, she felt decades younger. "You're glowing," one of the women said after class. "Is this your first time here?" "Yes," Maya said with a beaming smile. "And definitely not the last." Meanwhile, back home, Raj and Reena were finalizing their own travel plans. Reena was packing sunscreen and sandals while Raj casually scrolled through his phone. "Should we call Ma?" Reena asked. "Let her know we'll be gone a while." "Yeah, good idea," Raj replied, dialing. Maya answered after 2 rings. "Hello, beta." "Ma. Just checking in. What are you up to?" There was a pause on the other end, then a gentle laugh. "Oh, I'm just lying by the beach, soaking in the sun. The sea breeze is heavenly." Raj chuckled. "What, at Clifton again?" "No, not Clifton," she said. "I'm at the Azure Bay Resort." Raj sat upright. "Wait, what? The same resort we're going to?" "Yes," Maya replied calmly. "I arrived 2 days ago." There was silence. Reena looked at Raj, confused. You went there? Alone?" Raj stammered. "Yes," she said. "I thought it was a place for people who want to relax and enjoy life. I realized I qualify." Raj felt his throat tighten. "Ma, I didn't mean to." "It's all right," she interrupted, her voice warm but firm. "You didn't think I would do it. But I did. And I'm having the time of my life." He swallowed hard. I should have invited you properly. I didn't mean to make you feel left out. I know, Beta, she said softly. But sometimes, we don't realize how we make others feel until they show us. The call ended with a promise to catch up later. But the guilt lingered in Raj's chest. His mother had done something bold, something she'd never done before. And she had done it without him. That evening, Maya dined under a canopy of stars. A local musician played a soft tune nearby. A waiter poured her a glass of sparkling juice. To new beginnings, he offered, raising the glass. Maya smiled, lifting hers. To discovering life on your own terms. She sipped slowly, feeling more alive than she had in decades. 3 days after their first conversation, Raj called again. This time, there was no light-hearted tone in his voice, just a heaviness he couldn't shake. Maya answered from the balcony of her suite, her feet up, a warm breeze brushing through her hair. Hello, Raj. Ma, Raj said, his voice low and hesitant. I've been thinking about our last call. I thought you might, Maya replied, calm and composed. I was wrong. About everything. About you coming with us. About assuming what you'd enjoy. About acting like your presence would somehow ruin the trip. He paused, taking a shaky breath. I didn't mean to hurt you, Ma. But I know I did. Maya remained quiet for a moment, letting the words settle. Yes, you did, she said finally. And the worst part is, you didn't even notice at first. I'm so sorry, Raj said again. I've been so caught up in my own world. I guess I just took you for granted. Maya exhaled deeply. Veda, I've spent my life being there for you. When your father passed, I held our world together so you wouldn't feel the void. I worked day and night to make sure you had a good life. I never once thought of myself. I know, he said softly. And I appreciate everything you've done. I didn't realize how much I've been overlooking you lately. I didn't come here just for the beach, Raj, Maya continued. I came here to remind myself that I exist outside of being your mother. That I am still someone who has dreams, desires, and the right to live freely. There was silence on the line. Then Raj said, I wish I had understood that sooner. I wish so too, Maya replied. But I won't wait for anyone to validate my life anymore. Raj's voice cracked. Will you come home soon? I will, she said, her tone softening just a touch. But when I do, I'll be coming home as a woman who knows her worth, not just someone's mother. She paused, then added, I don't need permission to live my life, Raj. I never did. With that, Maya ended the call and turned her gaze back to the ocean, a quiet smile playing on her lips. She wasn't just on a vacation. She was finally free. When Maya returned home, the front door opened before she could knock. Raj stood there, his face full of guilt and nerves. Behind him, a bouquet of fresh lilies rested on the entryway table, next to a small gift box. Ma, he said softly, welcome home. Maya stepped inside, her eyes scanning the clean house. Looks like someone's been busy. I wanted to make it right, Raj said, offering the flowers. These are your favorite, right? Maya took them with a warm smile. They are. Thank you. He handed her the gift box next. Inside was a delicate gold bracelet engraved with, to the woman who taught me everything. It's beautiful, Maya said, gently tracing the engraving. But you know, Raj, love isn't measured in flowers or gold. Raj lowered his eyes. I know. I didn't know how to show you I'm sorry. Start with respect, she said softly. And consistency. Not just when you feel guilty, but every day. He nodded. You have my word. No more brushing you aside. No more excuses. Maya looked at him for a long moment, before placing a hand on his shoulder. I appreciate that, Beta. Truly. But remember, I'm not waiting for permission to be happy anymore. I've learned to put myself first. Later that evening, Maya sat in her small garden, a cup of tea warming her hands. The sun dipped low, casting a golden glow over the blooming roses she had planted years ago. She breathed in the quiet, the peace. For the first time in decades, she felt entirely whole. Not because of someone else's love, but because she had finally embraced her own. No age, she whispered to herself, is too late to start living. And with that, Maya smiled, ready for whatever came next. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe our channel and share it with your friends and family.